Hey guys, how you doing, man? Welcome. Could you all hear me? Hey guys, welcome to another episode 15 of Just Another Conversation. Thank you all. I welcome you, and I hope that you're all okay and doing well. So, it is crazy how fast time goes. Time goes really fast. I wanted to talk about stress and how much impact stress has on your life versus people who actually smoke cigarettes. My family life expectancy, well, I had a grand grandmother who was in her 105, 6 years old. I think she's passed when she was 105 years old, which was on my mother's side. And it seemed to me that on my mother's side, people have lived longer. And they seemed more, I would say, intellectual, not very like hands people, but very, very intellectual. On my dad's side, people were more musically inclined. Like my crazy ass fucking uncle, who I fucking hate, who's actually a musician and a millionaire. Not me. I'm definitely not a millionaire. But my cheap ass uncle, he is a musician. And they were actually all sick from COVID in 2019, and he didn't receive any kind of shot in his shoulder or his knee or anywhere in his body. And for some reason, the guy barely stayed alive. He was on breathing tubes for a while. His lung hurt like hell afterwards for months. And I think he's still at the breathing tubes right now. He's just now, after all these years, I don't know. I don't know exactly what happened to him and his wife. I do know that they got COVID. I think she received some shots. He didn't. As a matter of fact, two people in my family have passed away from COVID, and my brother-in-law, who I don't think received one shot ever, but he was already weak from liver failure. My brother-in-law was a really great guy. He was a big. He was he was an alcoholic. We've met when I was in my 20s. We met in New York, and when I first met him, I didn't know he was an alcoholic. He didn't seem like it to me. He was still relatively young, in his early 20s. I love him to death. We get along. You know, when someone clicks instantly, people that, like when you see someone and you get together with that person, you would know instantly whether you click or you don't. It doesn't matter if you just sit there quiet and you don't say anything to either one of, you don't say anything to her or him, and she doesn't say anything to you. Whatever it is, I think the two human beings, when they're together, they know when they click. And it's not really that difficult to, um, it's not that difficult to feel. That's kind of, it works with the feel. It's not something that you can say or do. Um, I have a hard time clicking with people just because I always seem to find always something fucking wrong with everybody. Well, some people, although maybe it's just in my head. I don't think everybody is bad. I don't think, as a matter of fact, more, way more people out in the world are good than bad. It's just that bad always wins. It just seems like you can have 20 people living in your house, and if one is negative or two, it seems like everybody's negative. So it's kind of like my whole experience through my life has been, I would say, bad decisions and a lot of negative thoughts. Um, Bad decisions, a lot of negative thoughts, things happen quick. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. Subscribe and let's talk. So, as you all know, some of you that have already subscribed, they know my channel and know who I am. Some of you know who I am and what I do here every night, and some don't. But if you do, you probably know what I'm going to talk about. If you don't know what I'm going to talk about, then you can listen. And if you don't, if it bores you, then I guess you're gonna have to leave. If it doesn't bore you, then you can subscribe, right? I don't have anything. I don't ever get ready for anything as far as my channel. I don't talk about scripted things. Nothing is scripted here. I just go on and I just talk purely just about problems, illnesses, mental illness, spirituality, some stories to tell, experiences, and things like that. So I was talking about how people know when they click. I was talking about uh, stress versus actual addiction to smoking cigarettes and just addiction in general, and then all that versus mental and uh, panic disorder illness versus anxiety and depression and stuff like that. Hey, excellent. Thank you. That's very nice of you. Much love. Thank you. So people say, you see, I've had a great grandmother in my family who I've never seen her in my life. I have even I even had I've even fell in love with a woman or a girl when I was in school years ago, and I didn't even know she was my cousin. I was hanging out at my grandmother's in the summertime. I was on my summer break, and that day it was a beautiful day. My grandma made lunch, and she called me over. She said, "Hey, why don't you come over and have some lunch?" And I did. I went out and to her house and had lunch. And after I was done, my dad stopped by. My brother was around, my mother, and we were just all kind of hanging out and talking. And this girl comes in, and dark hair, beautiful, like blue eyes with dark eyebrows, kind of tall. And I was in my, I think, seventh grade, I think. And I came up to my dad and I said, "Man, I've been seeing this girl around and I think I'm in love." Because nobody's ever introduced me to her. I had no idea. And he said, "Son, that's your cousin." And I said, "Wow, why the fuck didn't you tell me? It's my cousin." And I've literally followed my cousin I've never even met. And I felt so bad because it's not something that we do. It's not my thing. Uh, but, in some countries, like in Denmark, my brother dated a girl, when we were in a refugee camp in Denmark. Her name was Pia. So my brother dated this girl for, again, we were there like 19 months. He dated this Danish girl, and he even moved into her place, and she cooked for him, and he cooked for her. They were very happy, and man, I actually even thought they were gonna get married at some point because they were doing so well, and just one day the whole thing just fell apart. He came to the camp and he's like all crying and lost his mind. And I said, "Brother, what is going on?" he goes, you know, Pia, you know. I was like, of course I do. Yeah, you guys have been together for I don't know almost a year now. I figured you guys are doing great, you know, and you had a bright future. He goes, no, brother, no, we actually are not going to have a future at all. As a matter of fact, he goes, she left me for her cousin, first cousin. It sounded very disgusting to me, and it still does. But that's just something they do in Denmark at that time and that those days. I don't know if they still do it. So she actually fell in love with her first cousin, got married, and when I ran into that girl, same girl, some months later at the store in Denmark, uh, I asked her questions. I said, "Well, what happened to you and my brother? Oh, you guys are doing great." And she's like, I just couldn't. You know, we're two different people, and plus my family didn't want me to get married to anyone outside the family because you know they were kind of wealthy and they were trying to keep the money in the family. So she was forced to marry her cousin. I thought it was kind of gross. I've lost all the respect for her. I didn't talk to her after that for a while. And but I did feel bad for my brother because he was completely destroyed for a while. He wasn't all himself, you know. Um, and something similar it's happened to me also. I when I came to United States, subscribe guys. When I came to the United States back in '94, I found a job. I worked at the company that assembled uh, coffee machines, like a assembly line, and you would assemble coffee machines. It was called Cecilware, I believe. Yeah, Cecilware. And they were located on the same island right across from right across from Rikers Island in New York. There was a factory. I worked there in the 90s. I would get up at 3 a.m. in the morning. It was my mother would get up before 3 a.m. She would make me breakfast at three before 3 a.m. I would get up around 3 a.m. I would eat because I'm a damn slow eater. It would take me about an hour to eat. I would leave around 4 a.m. I would walk through Brooklyn at 4 a.m. in the morning so I can catch the train to go all the way. I would have to actually change two different subway trains in New York in the 90s just to get to work over by Rikers Island. And I would walk about a quarter of a mile to get to the subway station. I remember I would take an L train. L train, I would go uptown. I would probably catch an N train over in a store somewhere, and then another. I don't remember another train to go and take me to the this factory or this closer to where the factory was. It's a silverware factory, which was closer to Rikers Island. And yeah, it would take me about, and I had to be there by 6 a.m. So it would take me about 2 hours by subway. That's how I worked in the 90s. I didn't have a car. I barely had any money. I still barely have any fucking money. I never had money. Seems like every time I get money, it's gone. And so I did that for some time. I would get up at 3 a.m., eat, you know, and take a walk at 4 a.m. in the morning through Brooklyn, streets of Brooklyn. At the time, it was dangerous in New York. Um, but thank God I always made it home safe. Um, what I'm trying to say is I worked my ass off at that company. And then 6 months, oh yeah. But anyways, the point was that I've met this girl, like kind of like my brother did. So it's kind of the same story about the girl that my brother met in Denmark, who married her cousin. Well, this was kind of similar thing. I met a girl, in in early 90s, mid 90s, when I worked at this silverware factory. It was a coffee machine factory, and she was some kind of an accountant. And every time I would go, every day I'd go for lunch, and there was a little small office. Uh, she would look at me, and I would look at her as I was walking to get out of the building and go buy myself some food. And she was looking at me. I was thinking, oh, this girl probably likes me, and I want to kind of talk to her. So I I I gathered enough courage to you know go talk to her one day because she would sit outside and eat on the bench. I just came up to her, I just started talking. I said, "Hey, you're looking at me, and I like you. I think you're nice, and this and that." And so we kind of got together, and we went on a date a few times, and we kind of started dating, and we worked at the same place. But I was young and stupid and naive. I didn't know much about anything really. Um, but yeah, we dated, we kissed a few times, and we never really had an intercourse, of course. And it was like that maybe for a month or two. We dated, and she was from Iran, and she was telling me that her dad was like some kind of he was high up in government, I guess. Not president, but like more like you guys have here in the United States, like a senator or something like that. She was like, "Yeah, my dad's like a senator, and we have a lot of money, and I just came here to the United States to go to school." And she's just telling me all these stories, right? And I'm listening. I'm like, "Wow, man, you're so lucky. You get this amazing family, and you guys are wealthy." And I guess they lived in this beautiful castle-like looking place. And so I'm like, man, this is really not my cup of tea. Like I never really wanted to marry anybody who was rich or had money. But she did have the money, and we we took off. She said she loved me, and we were like, hey, we even had plans to fucking get married. It was crazy, like it just happened so fast. Uh, I just I don't know what the heck is going on because it just it was so surreal, so just so fast. It happened like I didn't even, just a month ago. I didn't even know who this woman was, and all of a sudden here I am, plans to get married. But just as we were starting to get really close, and personal, and all these plans, and I think I even bought her a ring. She just one day walked up to me at the lunchtime and said, "Hey, I gotta tell you something. It's very important. Why don't we talk?" I said, "Okay, cool." I knew it wasn't good because when a woman tells you that, you know something's right, something's off. And so she goes. So anyway, I spoke to my father. You see, when you're dating a woman from Eastern Europe or China or something like that, you better don't, honestly, if you don't have the money, because their parents have a lot of influence on their lives. I didn't know that at the time, but this girl was, she was from Iran, and everything her parents tell her, she does. They had a lot of influence on her, and she goes like, I can't date you anymore. We can't be together. Although I bought her a ring, we had plans to get engaged and everything. And I just stood there like confused. I was confused. I was like, just yesterday we had these plans, and today she's telling me she doesn't want to be with me. And I was like, well, could you tell me what this is about? She said, well, um, I'm actually getting married to my cousin. Let's see. I said, what? Who? She goes like, my cousin. And to be honest with you, you know how sometimes when you are when a woman dumps you, you're like so insulted, and you're weeping. Some guys are even crying or upset, or you're sick to your stomach. You can't eat, and you know this like love thing when you when 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 it doesn't work out and you're on your own. And um, for the most part, a person gets really upset and worked up over it when they get dumped, right? Whether it's a man or a woman. But me, surprisingly, I was disgusted. Like I stood there when she said I'm getting married to my cousin. I'm just like, oh my god, I gotta stay away from this woman. Like, what the fuck is wrong with her? And I just couldn't wait to get away from her. Like it was instantaneous for me. And I'm like, well, you want to get married to your cousin? Go, please. Stay the fuck away from me. So for me, it was like a liberating thing. I just um, instead of me being upset and sad, I was happy. I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. If you're fucking crazy, I don't want to be with you in the first place. And that was that. That was the last time I've seen her. I didn't work there much longer after that. Probably a few days later, they let me go, and I wasn't working there anymore. And I'm guessing she had a lot to do with it. Um, I guess she didn't want to be around me anymore. That was back in like early mid 90s. So that's the thing. I mean, how do you know when someone is the right person for you? I mean, uh, some people say it's the birthdays. Some people say it's um the way your faces are. Some people say, well, your faces look alike. You must be meant to be together. I don't believe in that. Some people say, well, the longer you stay with a person, the more you start to look like that person. Some people say if you eat fish long enough that you're gonna turn into a fucking fish. I don't think so. Some say if you live on the beach long enough and you swim long enough and you swim for 100 years, you're gonna turn into a fucking mermaid. Come on, evolution. I mean, just none of that stuff nonsense. I mean, I don't know. It might be true, it might not be true. I don't know what we can turn into, what we cannot turn into. I'm not a professor. I'm not scientist. I don't specialize in human transformation, but I can tell you one thing though: people do change um, based on who they hang out with every day. You know, they say you are who you hang out with. You know, it's a famous quote, it's a famous saying. But I pretty much never really. I have met a lot of people who have changed when they hung out with other people, and I can see those changes in them because I've known them before this happened. I've known a couple of people before who started hanging out with some other people after me, and I could see changes, and that's just a sign of really bad character or no character at all. If other people can change you, then you're really not a strong person. You're not mentally developed or confident, I'd say. Um, and or if someone can buy you with money, you're definitely not morally developed. Some people can easily be bought by money. I mean, for Christ's sakes, my car was robbed in New York in the 90s because I left $2 in between the seats, and someone came and fucking broke my windows overnight and took my $2. My father, after work, we worked, we did construction in New York in the 90s, and it was a winter time. We had a old Mercury Sable, and we just bought that car. We put all our savings into this Mercury Sable. Um, we just moved to the United States. We got this job, and we were doing painting and construction just in general for some people. Excuse me. And Me and my brother and my dad, we all worked really hard. We remember, mom would stay at home and she would cook and she would iron the clothes and she'd, you know, uh, make sure she did things around home while we were at work. And food always waited for us when we came home, which was amazing. We were saving money on the side just in case we needed it. But we did need a car because we were catch rides with other people, and it just wasn't really convenient because other people were, they wanted to leave at a certain time and they wanted to get up a certain time, and we just didn't think it was really convenient, so we needed to buy a car. And in the 90s, you could have bought a nice car for 5, 6 thousand dollars. Today for 5, 6, 7 thousand dollars, you can't really buy a very nice car. Back then, you could have bought a very, very nice car. And so we finally got all this money together. We saved all our money. We worked so hard. It was a beautiful silver, bluish kind of silver looking Sable with a sunroof and four door. It was a sedan and just a wonderful, beautiful looking car. Beautiful interior, radios, CD player, all that nonsense. We were so happy to have this car, man. Like we lost everything, just years before that, and we were so happy to have this car. We put every single penny, and we lived in this small, tiny little place in Brooklyn. And what do you know? It was wintertime, and we just loved going to work and driving ourselves to work and from work back to home. And my dad was so happy about it. And just one particular day, a really cold day. I remember it was a very cold day in February. We got home and we parked the car in front of the building just on the side of the road. And my dad had some change from. We went to White Castle and we had some food and we were kind of back and he just kind of threw change. It was like a couple of bucks and change right in a cup right there. And when we got home, I said to him, Dad, take that money. Don't leave it there. We can get robbed. They'll break your windows and take your money and take our radio, whatever. Steal your car. Dad's like, who the hell is gonna take? Who's gonna break my window over $2? It's just $2. Who cares? He goes, just leave it there. I'm like, Dad, I'm telling you, this is New York. It's 90s. He will. There's someone who will break your window. Although deep inside, I was like, there's no way. But then again, I said it. Whatever. My dad's so damn stubborn. He's the most stubborn person in the world, man. My father was so stubborn. He was the most stubborn person you'll ever meet. I couldn't talk him to get that money out of the car. He said, I'm just going to lock the car. No worry. All right. Cool, Dad. Lock the car. See what happens. Son of a bitch, man. The morning comes around. We're about to go to work. And of course, a window was broken. Not just one, but all. Someone broke all our windows. And they took all our change and paper money and change, the quarters and paper. I don't think there was more than $3 there. maybe less. But the crazy part is they broke all our windows just to get the $2.75 or whatever was there. And I said to my dad, "You see, I damn told you to get this money out." He's like, "Son, you were right. From now on, we'll never leave the money in the car." People are, and that's what I was saying earlier, people are easily bought and they're easily rattled over nonsense. You know, I was never supposed to be in the United States. I was never supposed to be living here. Although I am happy that I have a family, man. I'm definitely one of the fortunate people to have family and had a chance to have kids. I have two great kids, man. I love to death my family. I love everybody to death, man. This has nothing to do with what I'm about to say, but in the first place, I wasn't supposed to be in the United States. This was a total incident, total accident. I never wanted to be here, just because it it was good where I was at. You know, we were good where we were at. Now the problem was my dad had this itch that he wanted to go here because of his Dane brother, my dad's brother, who lived here some years prior. He lived in the United States. My uncle, piece of shit, right? Who said, "Hey, if you guys come out here to the United States, I will help you get all the papers. I will help you get situated. I will help you get the jobs. I will do this. I will do that. I will anything you need. I'm here." You know, that was my dad's brother, a lying piece of crap. And I was telling my dad because at the time we were in Denmark, and Denmark was just an amazing country to live in. I loved it there. It was people were so kind and great, and food was amazing. Uh, Weather was amazing, but for some reason, my dad was too good of a man, and he fell for bullshit and lies of a man who lived here, which was his brother, who promised because we told him, "Listen, we don't have any savings. We got enough to live here in Denmark and be here, but we don't have enough savings. We don't have enough of anything to really go to US and live there because everything's so damn expensive over there." He's like, "Oh, don't worry. You just come over here and I'll take care of it." I was telling my dad, "Dad, don't fall for it. That man is a liar. He's not going to help you. He's not going to help you, just like he never was before." Um, and of course, we left Denmark in '94 in August and came here to the United States. First, we landed in New York. And I tell you, like, the very first few minutes, me being in New York, when we landed to at the JFK airport, we were legal. We had all the paperwork, everything. But the problem was you can see the poverty in this country instantly. You can see even back then in the '90s. You can see in that the country was just torn up. And if you walk down the street in any country and you see people sleeping on the streets, that's probably not going to be a good idea for you to live there. You see what I mean? Because that's something that I saw when I was 17, 18 years old when I came here the first time. And I was trying to ask this lady who was our guy, who was obligated to take care of us the first 6 months to a year until we kind of took off a little, and earned money on our own and stuff. But anyways, I've tried to ask this lady like, why is it that these people are sleeping on the floor by the wall in the airports? And she just bluntly said, "Oh yeah, those are just homeless people. Those are just homeless people." To her, that didn't really mean much of anything. And I remember my parents. We barely had any money. I think we came to U.S. with $20 in our pocket. I had nothing certainly. I had two shoes on my feet who were two different colors, two different sizes. Luckily, it was August and it was still kind of warm. I didn't have any other clothes anywhere when I first arrived to the United States. Neither did my brother, nor did my mom or my father. All we had was $20 and a promise of some job that my dad might get, you know. And yet, with just that $20, my father, my father brought, or actually, got change for that $20, and we left $5. All we had was $20. But then we took that $20 and we gave five to a homeless man who was begging for money in New York airport, JFK in New York, and then we were left with only $15. And that's all we had to live on. $15. No job, no place to stay, just nothing. Now that's fucking heart. When you take the last of what you got and you help someone else, now that's what you call heart. If you can do that, then you're a real man, real person, real human, with real feelings, real heart. Now, my cousins are totally opposite. They have shit ton of money, and I don't remember them leaving not even a dime to any homeless person ever. Maybe that's why they're rich. Who the fuck knows? Right, that's true. Well, um, people say, well, that's why they're rich because they don't give their money to poor. That's not the reason why they're rich. They're rich because they're just rich. They have jobs, they make good money. They're not any smarter than any of us. The thing is that it's just that once you are in a family that is wealthy and you're born into money and you're born into silver and gold, you're always going to be born into silver and gold and into money. There is no way in hell. This is just the way I see the world. When people say, I don't know if you guys watch Shark Tank, right? But that fucking guy that owns Dallas Mavericks, what is his name? That billionaire. Um, he goes, and this is just a story that I don't fall for stories like what the guy from Shark Tank. What's his name? Oh yeah, Mark Cuban, right? So he was explaining to one of the people on the Shark Tank that came by. He goes like, "Well, that's just how I started. I I had nothing, but I was going from door to door selling meat, and I had nothing in my pocket. That's how I started. Look at me now. I'm a billionaire." Please give me a fucking break, will you, dude? You're trying to tell me, right, that you became a millionaire from selling fucking meat from door to door, and you had nothing prior to that? Go fuck off. Not possible. You cannot become a billionaire when you're in the zero trying to get to the top. No fucking way. No one has ever done it. Unless you were born in the money, you cannot become a billionaire starting from zero. No way. If somebody ever tells you that and you believe it, you're a fucking idiot. Exactly. The only time that that's possible is if you win lottery, right? Or someone in your family that's rich dies and gives you some inheritance. And that's how it usually happens. All these rich fucking assholes, they've become rich through inheritance. Now, it is possible to become a millionaire. Now, you can have some millions, but you cannot be a billionaire. I believe the billionaires altogether should not exist. Not as people, but just as billionaires. Um, because it's just unrealistic. It's not real. You have earned that money by being a crook. So you earn that money by stealing from others or money inherited from your family. Oh yes, you can invest money if you, let's say, I had some kind of inheritance or you won lottery, you invest and you can maybe get your investment to climb up to a few million or something like that. Or if you've written a book and sold, I don't know, a million cop or 500,000 copies, you can make a million or two, right? But if you're gonna tell me that you're a billionaire and you sold meat door to door, you are a fucking liar. That whole Bitcoin bullshit, that is that Bitcoin doesn't even exist. I've met a guy here in Michigan who he was a younger guy who worked with me in the restaurant. And we went out for a cigarette. And the guy started telling me, he goes like, I don't really have to work in the restaurant, man, but I'm just, this is just extra money for me. I said, what do you mean you don't have to work in a restaurant? What do you mean extra money? He goes, well, I'm rich. And I said, wait, what? He goes, I'm rich. And I said, well, what are you doing in the restaurant? He goes like, well, it's different kind of money. I can't do nothing with it yet. And I was like, what? And this was like 10 years ago or so. This was before the Bitcoin was as popular as it is now. So if if that guy still has that Bitcoin now, he's probably, I mean, obviously Bitcoin means a lot to some assholes. To me, it means nothing really. But this guy said to me that he had close to like 10 million of Bitcoins or something like that, like of millions of Bitcoins. That was like 10, 15 years ago when I worked with him in the restaurant. And I had no fucking idea what that was. I still don't know what the fuck Bitcoin is. What is that? What is even what does it even mean? Exactly. So what's the point? See, it's crazy. And I just don't believe billionaires. Period. I don't believe in. Well, I'll tell you what. In the professional sports, this is another thing I don't believe. All right, and I strongly, strongly, strongly believe that no one in a goddamn world. I don't give a fuck who you are. You are not worth getting paid in sports $50 million a contract. I'm sorry. It's just not fucking right. You have a baseball player. What the fuck do they do? Stand in one spot and spit? And then they get paid like what, 20, 30, 40 million a contract? It's just wrong. Or like a basketball player. Like let's for example, LeBron James. He's worth $1 billion. From what? From commercials? From uh, playing fucking basketball? I mean, this is just crazy what is going on in this country. They're throwing so much money at these athletes. Millions and millions of fucking dollars. For what? For hitting the fucking ball? For throwing the ball in the basket? And most of them fucking airball anyways. I can see someone getting paid in professional sports maybe 100,000, 150,000 a year. That's as high as anyone should get paid in any professional sports fucking period. Okay? No professional sports should be paying people millions of dollars. I'm sorry. It's just wrong. Where other people are fucking starving and sleeping on the streets. It's just wrong. I mean, how many guys do they have sitting on the bench? They're literally doing nothing, still getting paid millions of dollars. It's just fucking wrong. The way I see it is this: everyone should be able to live in this country. Everyone should have a job, but everyone should get paid according to what they do. Obviously, doctors should be paid more because doctors do save lives. They do a lot of humanitarian work and they do save lives, right? But when you have someone who sits in their office pushing pen all day and still gets paid millions, dude, fuck off. You should probably get paid 20,000. Physical work should pay more than pushing pen in the office. That's the way I see it. Maybe I'm too radical. That's the way it should be. Now, doctors, surgeons, people like that who save lives from day to day deserve to get paid not millions, but more than everybody else. Now, those people that work at McDonald's, people that work in schools, teachers should get also get paid really good money because and nurses, teachers, nurses, doctors, uh, let's say people like firefighters, you know, everyone who gives their life to improve somebody else's life. It's people that risk their lives to improve other people's lives. Those are the people that should get paid more, not those fucking goddamn basketball and football players. What the fuck? What is it that basketball players ever fucking risk to help others? What is it that any football player ever risks to help others? What is it that any of the sports people risk anything to help fucking anybody? Fuck them. They don't they don't fucking deserve to get paid millions. Give it to the fucking nurses. Give it to um, firefighters. Give it to the veterans. Give it to homeless. What the fuck? It takes balls to live on the street and struggle. If you have extra money, give it to those people. They deserve it more than the goddamn basketball players, man. who run around their little fucking goddamn tank tops and put the ball in the hoop. Give me a fucking break. I mean, everything is goddamn upside down in this country. Those who are not supposed to get paid more than the ones that are supposed to get paid more. And another thing is, why can't everybody have insurance? What is it in this fucking place that there's that people cannot get help that they need when they're sick? That is another thing that pisses me the hell off. Why can't we just walk into the doctor's office and get help without getting charged shit ton of money and being bankrupted after one doctor's appointment? My father-in-law, when he was sick, he was in the old folks' home. And this old folks' home, if I tell you guys that this place looked like it just got bombarded by like shit, this place was asking my father-in-law, who was actually sick on his deathbed, he was there and he needed to pay thousands of dollars a week just to be in this fucking place that was literally falling apart. I walked in there and went to visit him with my wife. Paint was peeling off the damn walls. It stunk terribly in there. The elevators were fucking full of garbage. The garbage cans were stinking, just sitting in the corners. Nobody was emptying the garbage bags. The people that worked in there were rude. It just, the hallways were dirty and smelly. There was shit spilled all over the floors. And then you have these elderly people who are spending their last days in these places and they're charging them up the ass. And then what is it all for? Then what happens? What happens to these people? They die, and then their death buries somebody else after them. It's just crazy. No, I'm not American, and I don't want to be. I will never be American. I might be a citizen, but never American. So I think that people will be a lot damn happier in this country if we all had medical care. I just ran into a guy in the store just the other day. He was a veteran. I saw a hat that he served in Iraq or something like that back in the 90s, early 2000s. I believe it was like a, was it like a end of 90s? But anyways, he served, and I came up to him. I said, "Sir, thank you for your service." And he says, "Yo, I thank you so much. You offered me a handshake. We shook hands." And so we started talking, right? And I saw a bunch of beers in his cart. He had a bigger belly. So he started to tell me that that he's sick. You know, he was a veteran and he started to tell me that he's very sick. And I said, wait a minute, sir, you're sick. Like, what is it? He goes, well, I have a cirrhosis of liver. I'm talking to a veteran guy at the store, at the grocery store just yesterday. Very nice man. And I said to him, I said, you know what? If you're a veteran, man, I think they treat veterans in this country like shit. Number one, that's period. Nobody treats their veterans worse than the United States of America. I believe so, unless there's some who I've seen a few here and there who are being treated all right, but for the most part, vets in this country are treated like total garbage. I'm not a veteran. I am a refugee. I've seen wars. I see what people do in the wars, and I've seen what soldiers have to go through. And they're not compensated for nearly for what they've been through. And I do believe that this country should pay a better attention to the veterans and give them what they deserve. You know, better medical care. Better homes. You know, just all the way around, all from help. Because there is plenty of money in this country. It's just going to the wrong places. Okay, going to the wrong pockets. There's plenty of money to go around to everybody. It's just that the money is going to the wrong places, like weapons, wars, rockets, things like that. And the citizens or the people of this country, not just citizens, anybody, residents, citizens, anyone who lives in this country is American, 100%. Because America wouldn't be America if it wasn't for the Europeans. It would have been only Indians still, if Europeans didn't come over here and build and educate and stuff like that. So this would have been still just one giant fucking continent with Indians running around, which is okay. Nothing against Indians. This was their land. It was forcefully taken from them. But I believe that everybody here has equal rights, and they just don't. Uh, People are easily bankrupted. Like a one medical bill can destroy your life here. Just one medical bill can destroy your life in this country. One medical bill, and you are gone. Everything you've ever worked for, it will be gone because of that one medical bill. You will never get your record or your credit record back to where it was before. You will your credit score will never be the same. You will never be able to buy a house. Your dreams are gonna crumble, and your whole life is gonna go to shit because this $20,000 or $30,000 medical bill. And it happens to a lot of Americans every day. Every day, people go through that. And those who are standing on the sidelines and laughing their ass off and think it's funny, don't worry, man. It's gonna come your way too. It comes everybody's way. And whether you have money or you don't have the money, it's gonna get you either way. Now, again, I'm gonna end pretty soon here because it's been over an hour. And just want to say thank you all very much for listening tonight. Thank you so much. I don't know much about Canada. I really don't, to be honest. I just know how they treat people in Europe because I've been there. I know what's possible and what's not because many countries are doing it. I don't know why we can't do it here. It is definitely possible. There's no doubt in my mind that every single person in this country can have healthcare without a question. It's as easy as that. Now, what Canadians have, I don't know. If they don't, I've heard they have universal healthcare, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I never went to Canada because that should be a basic human right. You would think. You would think. You know what I mean? Like we're all humans. We all get sick. We all get old. That should be a basic thing for any human to have free healthcare. Not even free. Just here. This is very simple. Every time you get paid, a little bit gets taken out of your paycheck. Maybe just like they're taking it for Social Security, just like they're taking it for taxes. Same thing for this. It's the same thing. They take maybe 5% of your check, or maybe 10% of your check, but then you can have healthcare, right? That's what they do in Europe. That's right. That's what they That's what they do in all European countries. That's what they did where I come from. You take it's a small percentage out of out of everybody's paycheck automatically. Just like that, they're already doing it for taxes. They're already doing it, for Social Security. It's just that that tax money is going to the wrong places. Um, Same thing they can do for insurance. They take maybe 5, 10, maybe 15%. If you're getting paid, I don't know, $400 a week, they take 10% of that $400. I don't know, it'd be like what, $40. But then you will have insurance, and then they issue you a little card, okay? And on that card it says your name, your birth, kind of like a license. You take that card with your picture on it to any doctor, and you're good. That's how it's supposed to be. And everybody here is freaking out and saying, "Oh, I don't want them taking money out of my paycheck because for healthcare or blah 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 blah." Dude, they're already taking money out of your fucking paycheck for taxes, so they can buy bombs and blow the fucking world up. Why are you scared if they take another 5 or 10% so you can have free healthcare? They already do it in many countries in the world, man. It's been done for decades. It's very successful. It's not that hard, man. It's really simple. 5-10% off your paycheck goes towards healthcare, towards your insurance. You get a card with your name on it, with your picture on it. Same as like a driver's license. You walk into a doctor, you show them that ID, they see your picture, they see your date of birth, they see who you are. Boom. You go in, they see you, they check you, you're done. No copay, no bullshit, no nothing. You never get a bill in your mail, nothing. All you have to do is pay that 10% a month or every 2 weeks or whatever it is. Very simple. And it works. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Yes. Guys, this is why I'm saying this. There's not enough people preaching the same story, man. This is very simple. Look, let me tell you a real quick story. I was delivering for DoorDash years ago, uh, just a little after COVID. And I always delivered to this man. He lived in the house by himself. But the very first time I came to his house, he just said, he left a message on the DoorDash app. He said, just knock and come in. I'm thinking it's probably a disabled person or something. I knocked, walked in. It's a dude in a wheelchair. He's kind of bigger guy and, a veteran, disabled. And I helped him to bring all the bags into the house. I even asked him to take all his groceries, put it in his fridge. I helped this guy, I hooked him up because I felt so fucking bad. I was disgusted that this man was by himself, alone, disabled, and a vet in a house, and nobody is helping him. He's by himself. It's disgusting. It should never happen in this country, ever. No disabled man or woman or child or any human being in this country should be by themselves, uh, either towards the end of their life or when they're disabled or anything like that, because they should have someone come helping them out, cook a meal, someone helping them out, take them out, do whatever. Okay, but the system is just not like that here. It's just, you see, rich already have what I'm talking about. They just don't want you to have that. Okay? I'm not really sure what that means. Listen, this whole thing about healthcare, for me, I believe it comes from see, this is again tied to politics, and I just hate talking about politics. I don't want this to be a politics about politics. But it, it's just so simple. I mean, they try to say that it's some kind of a socialist thing, communist thing. It's not. Right to be right, to be a human, and every human to have a right to be able to go to a doctor and be seen and not have a gigantic freaking medical bills which are going to bankrupt them. That's not too much to ask for. Okay, it is very simple. It works in other countries. It should work here. We have This is one of the richest countries, if not the richest country in history of Earth. There's plenty of money here to go around for everybody. You get paid. They take 10% out of your paycheck every 2 weeks or once a month, however they decide. And then money goes straight to healthcare for the people. So all 300 plus million people would be put on the same plan. Okay? And voila, here comes your freaking health insurance. You're paying it instantly by money being taken out of your paycheck. It's a very simple plan. They don't want to do it. I don't know why. I guess it scares them for people to be healthy. I don't know if that's scary to some people, not to me. I think people should be healthy. They should be able to be healthy so they can provide for their families. If you're not, then you're really just not. You can't provide. You can't take care of kids. You can't take care of family. You can't do nothing. So that's why I feel like it is necessary. It is vital for the country to have, for all of us to have health care. And the reason why we don't have it is because there's too much money in politics. That's all it is. Once the money gets out of politics, everything will be better. Folks, I have started to talk about politics and I hate politics. So, but I believe it's a human right to have health care. Folks, subscribe right away if you haven't subscribed yet. Join me. Let's build this community together. Community of me, of you, of all the people who are um, rejected in the world and pushed around and misunderstood. I'm trying to build that community, so please subscribe if you haven't yet. And I'm probably gonna have episode 16 tomorrow. We're gonna probably talk about again about healthcare. We're gonna talk about addiction and stuff like that. Well, no, I mean, you are right, but you're also wrong at the same time. I do believe that it's a right, human right to have health care, but I also believe that you're right that government should provide it. You're absolutely correct. I don't disagree. So hey, Cyberdove, thank you so much, man, for being here. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being involved in the conversation. I really appreciate you. If you if you're going to join us again tomorrow, you're welcome. And let's see who else joined us. Rebel 84, thank you so much. Oh, it was basically just you two. And then somebody asked me if I was American. Why the fuck does that matter? It's Riley Art. Thank you so much, man. All right. Well, thank you all. Thanks to all of you guys. I really appreciate you. It's kind of late. I've been here talking, blabbing for an hour and 12 minutes. It's usually my show is much longer tonight than it usually is. So I'll be back tomorrow night. We're going to talk about all sorts of stuff. I usually don't have anything planned to say. I just kind of, whatever comes to my mind, I talk about. You guys can ask questions and say whatever it's on your mind, and we can talk about it. So we'll be back tomorrow night just after midnight. And join me and subscribe. Let's build this community together. Let's make a change. So much love. I'm your host, Mr. Unspeakable, and we'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.